swing, my children! It is time for us to finally bid farewell to Hill House Comics. Its time was brief, but it shined so darkly. And let's end on a sequel. Last year, we talked about Basketful of Heads, where June Branch had to fight the corrupt cops of Brody Island and cut off their heads with an axe when they were trying to perform a cover-up. The Viking axe she used to do so made their heads keep talking even after being chopped off. The cold open shows a group of bikers stealing a Viking dagger from a rich family's collection, the dagger keeping a man alive even after he's stabbed in the heart. Though his family is not as fortunate. 1 year later, a couple arrives at Brody Island. Arlene, supposedly a writer, and Cal, who's really playing up his 80s-ness with his Frankie Goes to Hollywood shirt and pink shorts. They're staying at a rented fishing cabin whose owner explains about the trouble of last year. Oh, not the axe or anything, but their poor chief of police, Wade Clausen, was killed in a boat fire and his wife arrested for stolen goods. A real tragedy, especially since the new chief of police seems to be a lot more lax about all the bikers coming into town lately. Who I'm sure have nothing to do with those other bikers from the start. After a confrontation with said bikers, Cal soon spots what it is they're really after. The Viking axe, discovering it in the water where June had dropped it. Unfortunately, they are attacked by a great white shark and have to chop its head off. But the shark keeps chomping even with its head removed. June, meanwhile, is confronted by some supposed FBI agents who think there's more to her story than she told the feds. That she merely fled Wade Clausen's house when some men broke in and cut off her finger. But she denies any knowledge of the axe or anything else. The bikers attack Cal and Arlene, who are able to use the axe to chop off their heads. The one biker's, Rooster, rolls off the edge of an embankment to a beach. He quickly discovers how to move his head of his own power, rolling it to try to reunite with the biker's leader, Erica. The other heads, meanwhile, get thrown into a refrigerator, where the two want some information, lest they feed them to the chompy shark head. The head admits that, yes, they are the ones who have been stealing other Norse artifacts lately. And they kidnap June, of course not actually being FBI agents. Rooster's head, meanwhile, catches a ride on a deer antler, possibly a forest spirit of all things. The new police chief comes to question Cal and Arlene about the dead biker bodies, and Arlene admits who they are. Department of Defense agents looking for the stolen Viking artifacts. The chief doesn't believe their story and is happy to kill them even if they are who they say they are. Apparently a former biker himself. And he gets his head chopped off for the trouble. June is brought to Erica, who shows her the other artifacts. She explains that they are the Norse tetrad, weapons forged at the behest of the Aesir, meant to be wielded against the darkness of Ragnarok. The sword allows you to take the memories of whoever you slay with it. The dagger will freeze you, petrified but alive for all time. The boot? Well, that's for later. And of course the axe. We know what that does. Give you a splitting headache. As June continues to deny any knowledge of the axe, Rooster's head returns and reports to them who has the axe. Erica sending out a posse to try to retrieve it. Arlene calls for backup to clean up this mess, but help is not going to arrive soon enough as the bikes pull up. They're able to kill their attackers, but Cal is shot dead in the battle, who encourages Arlene to finish the job and not just wait for the DOD to relieve them. With the refrigerator now stuffed full of heads, she once again threatens them with the chompy shark. Tell her where they're hiding out, or they get to be chum. So let's connect the final piece here. How did a bunch of bikers find out about the axe and the artifacts on the June? Why, an old friend of Rooster's hired them. Wade Clausen! Yes, he survived the battle at the end of Basketful of Heads. Only half of his remains were found, and he was presumed killed, but most of him remained intact enough to start this. He is naturally pissed about what happened to him and his son, wants his revenge, but also wants the artifacts to try to restore himself. The heads inform Arlene of all this, including that June is on the island, so she makes the call to go on a rescue mission. However, plans are changing a bit. Erica's bikers had been promised Brody Island for their part in all this, but Erica, knowing that the artifacts are real now, decides to instead embrace the power of the artifacts and become a warlord herself with them. Wade is still going to get his revenge, but she's not letting him have the weapons. Wade does not take kindly to the betrayal and takes the Viking belt, which transforms him into a giant snake monster. Now you know we're in the 80s when the villain turns into a giant snake. Wade kills the bikers and takes June away to his old homestead to murder her. Erica is still alive when Arlene finds her and chops off her head to keep it going, then using the sword to steal her memories and find out where they're going. And fortunately for June, Arlene has mounted the chomping shark's head onto the front of her truck. She crashes it into Wade, chopping him in half, again, and then gives June the axe to finish the job. Unfortunately, in the heat of battle, June is separated from the axe, as Wade is separated from the belt, and he takes the axe up, only for the belt, with its snake half, to chomp down on Wade instead. Arlene finishes the snake off. The Department of Defense arrives to clean everything up, take the heads into custody. Arlene gives June a ride out, who fears that she's inexorably linked to the axe, but Arlene reassures her that with the weapons now in the hands of the DoD, she has nothing to worry about. Except, of course, for Rooster's head. Thanks to another ride with the forest spirit, he manages to get away with the belt. Sadly, I don't think Garage Freezer full of heads will be coming anytime soon, my children. But maybe someday, Hill House can return again.